Welcome to the Babies in Business Podcast. Join your hosts, Rachel and Avram Gonzales, real-life parents and business partners. Each week on Babies in Business, Rachel and Avram create a space for entrepreneurial parents to find their own way. They'll dive into insights on topics like leadership, efficiency, self-awareness, budgeting, and human psychology as they nurture their family and build their business. Here's your hosts, Avram and Rachel.
Hey, welcome back to another Babies in Business podcast. This is your host, Avram Gonzales, joined by the fabulous, wonderful, and beautiful Rachel Gonzales. Today's episode is asking for help before you need it. And, oh man, topic that's close to my heart. I can say I've been stretched in more ways with a new baby in the house and literally zero experience with children than I ever would have thought I could be stretched before. And on many occasions have waited way too long to ask for help, leaving me depleted, overwhelmed, and just generally frustrated.
And I think that's the plight of dads, is that dads feel like they're a supporting character with a baby. That I'm not saying that you are a supporting character, or that it's a bad thing. But sometimes you feel like maybe you can't ask for what you need because, well, mom is staying up, mom is nursing, mom doesn't have sleep, all these reasons that you may not ask.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Mom does so much for baby. I think you're right. It's hard to ask when you're the dude, and maybe you're struggling a little bit. That's not the specific topic today. It's not about me. This is about you, the listener, and sharing some of the things that we've been through as parents and business owners that we think might be helpful for you too. So in today's episode, we're going to talk about some of the mindset around why we don't ask. I think there's going to be some light bulb moments for you as a listener, especially if maybe you've had a hard time doing that. We're going to share with you some personal experience and things that we've done to be more proactive in our lives so that we maybe don't get pushed too far before we ask, or we have the support in place before we need it. It's that old dig the well before you're thirsty. Thank you, Harvey McKay. And we're going to wrap things up at the end, well, with some other nuggets that you're going to discover as we move here along. So I think first, where were we going to start, honey?
Yeah, so when we were preparing for the arrival of our baby, I assembled a team. I had a midwife, a doula, other advisors. There was a lady that came over to my house multiple times and just visited with me, talked about things that I could expect, some different ladies that were just visiting with me on the phone. And that's the advisors that I assembled. But also, babies are raised by a community, and it's always been that way. And in the past, babies would come into the world, and then the mother of the mother would come in and help watch that baby, and the aunts and the grandma, so that mom could get some sleep and heal quicker and get back on her feet quicker. And just right now, that's kind of not what happens. Here we are in America, and one household families. We don't have grandmas and grandpas that live with us, or our parents. Some countries have that still. They have that support system in place. But for us, some of the mindset that can make it difficult to ask for help is we feel like we need to do it ourselves. We are independent. And maybe if we ask for help, we might be seen as weak. Or maybe if we're afraid that we might be seen as a bad son or daughter if we need that help and we can't make it happen. I heard this sad story from one of my sisters-in-law that she was approaching her mom and saying how much she's struggling with children. She has 4 children, and she's just really struggling, and she was expressing that struggle to her mom, and her mom came back with, "So is having children not what you thought it would be?" And I thought, oh my God, what lack of compassion. And I'm not judging those individuals, but when we could be supportive, sometimes we say things that are pretty hurtful and damaging. And so we're just going to talk about that mindset. So as in our family and preparing for our baby, I had those advisors help me to get prepared. But as a business, what are those kinds of advisors that we have that advise us in our business?
I mean, it's those professionals that you should be paying a lot of money to, right? Because you really get what you pay for. It's your CPA, it's your bookkeeper. You got to have a lawyer in your back pocket. You never know. We have coaches, we have mentors that we've turned to over the years. Those are all people that are a very important part of our team. That's sort of like our guardian angels, that they're there for anything and you can turn to them for help.
Yeah, exactly. So we have those people that support us in these different roles that we have. We're parents, and we had those people that supported us in bringing our baby into this world. And now we have in our business, we have these different people that support us as well. And sometimes what happens, whether it's in business or it's as parents, that sometimes we wait until it's too late to ask. And I mean, maybe there's never a too late, but maybe we should have asked a lot sooner. And that could have helped us a lot more if we would have just had the courage or maybe had the awareness.
That's a big one. Yeah, that's a big one. I mean, think about a great business example of that is, let's say you just were totally head in the sand and didn't realize that you needed to pay taxes. And then you're scrambling to get a bookkeeper to get your books together, and then still scrambling yet more to find a CPA to put that stuff together. That's a very stressful environment that could be totally avoided by having that team in place.
Absolutely.
And you had mentioned like waiting too long to ask. And I think that's a big thing that I personally struggled with. I mentioned at the beginning of the podcast here is I got stretched to and beyond my limit, right? And when I did ask for help, and the times that I've become too overwhelmed and then felt like I waited too long to ask for help, every single time that I did, I wished I'd asked sooner. And it was really all this like mental junk that was in the way about whether I should or shouldn't, whether I was being too much, or whether I was maybe making an ask that was unfair of you, my partner. Again, because mom's doing so much of the work, where is my spot?
Yeah.
Every time I asked for help, a couple different things happened, though. People were super excited to help. I remember the first time asking my mom for help, and it was like one of the greatest things that I guess I could have done. Because I think that's just what mom wanted to do, right?
Building a business while raising a family can be tough to juggle for any entrepreneur. Knowing where to focus and how to spend your limited time is critical to your success. That's why Babies in Business has produced and made available a fantastic audio resource for you. It's titled 5 Key Focus Areas to Build a Profitable Business Without Burnout. During this short training, Rachel and Avram peel back the curtain on their secrets to building a business that serves your family, your dreams, and beyond. To download your free copy of the 5 Key Focus Areas, go to babiesandbiz.com/download. Again, that's babiesandbiz.com/download to get your free copy. We hope you enjoy. Now, back to the podcast.
There's such a gift being asked. Another thing that happens as a result of actually asking is you find out that, well, almost always you get better answers than you would have had just yourself. Like you've already tried to go through all of it mentally, and you arrive at this place where you're overwhelmed and frustrated. You ask for that help. You already exhausted all the things that didn't work.
Right.
Probably overthought them too.
Right.
And then that outside insight can be incredibly helpful.
And sometimes it's just the change of perspective that they have, that it's like, you know what, Avram, I understand that it's a big thing for you, but it's really not that big for me.
Sure.
It's not that much to bear. I remember the first time with having Lincoln in our life, it was a day that I was especially tired and you wanted to give me a nap. And it ended up that I didn't get a nap. And you were so frustrated by that. And it ended up in being that we were frustrated with each other.
Sure.
And you walked away for a moment because you needed some time to think. And then when you came back, the whole time I'd just been thinking, you know what, I hope that everything is okay. And I'm just trying to feel into your energy. And what I found was that in no other area of our life do we actually do things separately. And we were functioning that day in a separate capacity, like I'm doing this, you're doing that. And instead of having that conversation, you might have had the perspective of, I need to do this all myself so that Rachel can get a nap. And that it was a lot to put on you. And when it came to a head and we actually had that conversation, it changed everything. And we were able to see actually it strengthened our bond with each other. So when we're able to be vulnerable with each other, show how maybe raw we are and how it's not actually working for us. Sometimes we just need to ask for help even though we feel like we don't deserve it. And in those moments, sometimes we do feel like we don't deserve it, or maybe we don't know how to say it.
Well, and then at least when you ask and you put those words out there, you're certainly not alone anymore.
Exactly.
That's kind of a big deal, especially when you're raising a child.
Exactly. Business, there are times when we go through situations in business where we may have shame around something. Maybe we are behind on back taxes, like you mentioned, that we didn't prepare ahead of time, or whatever situation we might be facing. When we have that courage to ask somebody to help us, like you said, we're not bearing it alone, but we're also getting that other advisor that can help us with that other side. So whatever it is that we're facing, so personal or business, find somebody to help you so that you're not alone in it.
And it really is that opportunity to bond. We think about that in our relationships, interpersonally, pretty frequently. But I think we forget in business that we have team members, customers, that we have like stronger relationships with, where you spend enough time with somebody, expectations are going to be missed on one side or the other.
Right.
It's just going to happen, and it's pretty inevitable. I think in our society, we have too many like throwaway relationships. One thing goes wrong, we just toss it away.
Right.
But we're lucky to have and should continue to foster those relationships where people give each other a chance. And when people are given a chance, they do rise to the occasion, and everybody becomes stronger and more understanding as a result of it. Some of our best client relationships are with folks that either they messed up and we gave them a great chance to make it right and they did, or we did and they did the same thing for us, or both has happened in our relationship, and we just have a really tight relationship now as a result of it. Better than when we started, better than if that stuff hadn't have happened.
Absolutely. And these things come about when we ask for the things that we need.
Right.
Something isn't working for us and we ask for a change. Something is working for us and we make that clear so that people know, let's keep doing this. Either way, it helps us. It actually can fill us up more as business owners, as partners in marriage or in business, whatever form we find ourselves in that we're needing help. And we find ourselves asking for help from family right now, but there are different forms of help that we can ask from business. It's the professionals that we hire and that we pay. But the thing that it comes down to for me is anytime that we ask for help, we are very rarely met with anything other than, I am so sorry that you were struggling. I wish you would have asked for help sooner. And yes, of course, we would help you. People want to help. People want to create and have that community with each other.
And it's always an opportunity.
Yeah.
You just have to ask.
Yeah.
That concludes today's episode on asking for help before you need it. Again, this is the Babies in Business podcast. We really enjoy the time that we get to spend with you each and every week recording these podcasts and hearing your feedback. We'd love to connect with you on social media. Shoot the shiz with you a little bit if you got questions and things like that. You can certainly connect with us there or shoot us an email at hello@babiesinbiz.com. One last thing before you go, we would super appreciate your subscription on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, wherever it is that you're listening, because it means the world to us and lets other listeners know that this podcast exists. So if you found value today, please share it out. Let us know that you did. We'd love to hear your feedback. And with that being said, we're out. Bye for now.
Bye for now.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of the Babies in Business podcast. Who do you know that would benefit from hearing this episode? Share it with them and post about it on social media. You can find the show notes for this episode, free downloads, and connect with the rest of the community at babiesandbiz.com. We'll see you next time.